Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's update is a major blow for millions of Americans struggling with medical debt. A federal judge in Texas has just overturned Biden administration rule that would have wiped out medical debt from the credit reports, my friends. This decision affects around 15 million people and a massive $49 billion in medical debt. So what just happened? Why? And what does it mean for you? Let's break it down, my friends. The rule was introduced by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau or CFPB, and it aimed to ban the inclusion of medical debt in credit reports. The argument was simple. Medical debt isn't like credit card or loan debt. It's usually unplanned, unavoidable, and not a true reflection of your ability to repay. Under the rule, lenders would no longer be allowed to use medical debt history to determine your creditworthiness. It was seen as a major step towards fairer credit score, especially for people hit with unexpected hospital bills, my friends. But this past week, on July 11th, a federal judge, Sean Jordan, appointed by Donald Trump, struck down the rule. He said the CFPB overstepped its legal authority under the Fair Credit Reporting Act or FCRA. In simple terms, the judge ruled that this kind of change should come from Congress, not an agency like CFPB. The ruling now blocks this change entirely. So why did this happen? The rule had strong opposition from credit industry groups, including the Consumer Data Industry Association and Cornerstone Credit Union League. They argued that medical debt helps lenders assess risk and that banning it would make lending less safe. In a twist, the current CFPB leadership under Trump actually supported the lawsuit and chose not to defend the rule in court. Now let's talk numbers. This wasn't a small change. The CFPB estimated that this rule would have impacted around 15 million Americans and raised nearly $49 billion in medical debt from credit reports. It was expected to raise credit score by an average of 20 points and even result in 22,000 more mortgage approvals every year. That's a big deal, especially for working class families and young adults trying to buy their first homes. But with this ruling, nothing will change. Medical debt will continue to appear on credit reports. That means it will still drag down credit scores, affect mortgage and car loan approvals, my friends, and potentially raise your borrowing cost. The people hit hardest, those who have had serious illness or ER visits without insurance, often the very people who are financially vulnerable already. This decision also signals a broader trend, a rollback of Biden-era policies through the courts. It highlights the legal limits of what federal agencies like CFPB can do, especially when trying to bypass Congress. If anything, this case shows how policy changes can be reversed overnight depending on who is in charge and how courts interpret the law. So, what next? As of now, no appeal has been announced by Biden administration unless Congress steps in and pass a new law. The ruling will stand. There are some state level protections though, for example in California and New York, but there is no national safeguard anymore against medical debt hurting your credit. If you are someone with medical debt, here is what you can do. Check your credit report regularly, my friends. Look into non-profit debit counseling services. If you are eligible, explore hospital finance assistance or debit negotiation. See if your state has any consumer protections related to medical debt. It's also worth asking your lender if they consider medical debt differently from other types. Some now do. To wrap this up, this ruling is a huge setback for millions. It shows how deeply our credit system is tied to healthcare and how even well meaning reforms can be shut down. The hope now is that Congress or a future CFPB rule can offer a better solution. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe, and comment below. Do you really think medical debt should be removed from credit reports? Let's talk about it. Thanks for watching. I see you again in the next one. Take care.